When did you first start doing live streaming?
Like just after March.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I met Ice at this beer pong competition. My friend Jack from the Juke squad was putting on this pong competition,
Yeah.
and Ice was participating in it. And I met him there, and then he invited me to come and like be on one of his streams, like a desktop stream,
Okay.
because I weren't very comfortable doing like an IRL stream. So I'd seen like everyone be like, yeah, IRL's toxic, like you're gonna get swatted, like this is gonna happen, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I was like, I'll do a desktop stream with you. And then we did the desktop stream, and afterwards he was like, oh yeah, we should go and do an IRL stream. And I was like, okay, like I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Well, it was strange to me. I mean, I've seen you do the IRL streams a few times now. And it's funny because you have a tendency to talk about what you're doing. Like I was in here earlier and you were back in that room grabbing something. And to me, it just looked like you were talking to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's what you kind of got to do to keep it interesting for people.
It's the same as like, I mean, I guess with your podcast, it's condensed. So
Right.
maybe you'll go live for like however long, an hour or whatever. But with my live stream today, for example, say I've been going since 12, that's 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, even if I stop talking for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes in 7 hours is not a long time. But for me not to talk for 5 minutes is going to sound really weird. So you're like a radio host when you're live streaming, and you got to keep talking.
No dead air.
And try, yeah, exactly, because otherwise it's really weird. But that's really draining, like mentally and physically, pretty draining.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm just not that interesting.
I mean, I don't think I'm that interesting half the time, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that it's just like, I find myself sometimes like that where I'm like, I don't want to work.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything. I want to lie in bed and I would just want to take my mind off shit. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of people that watch the streams.
For sure. I think it definitely gives them something to do. And since you built a fan base, they just check in every now and again, and you're probably live streaming. I mean, you live stream daily now, right?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah. I don't know, like when I talk to people about even doing this podcast, they're like, oh, so you just get drunk and talk to people? How hard is that? I'm like, it takes like a lot out of me sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do that for an hour. You're doing this daily. I don't know.
The thing with the podcast, in my opinion, it might be kind of hard for you. I mean, I guess you can have time slots, like unless you can say, I'm going to do the podcast every week at this time or every other day at this time.
Right.
It's going to be hard for you to build attraction because with an hour period, that means people have to be online just by chance, ready to watch in that hour.
Well, I think that's what your fans, when I was doing the podcast earlier, they were in the chat. I think what they didn't understand about why I live stream, or the intention for why I started it, was so that I don't have to edit anything.
Yeah.
It's just up on YouTube. Because I was spending 2 to 4 hours editing one podcast before.
Yeah.
And it would keep piling up. I'd have more and more podcasts, and I had this backlog of shit. So the reason why I started live streaming was just to make editing. I don't have to edit now.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make it difficult with the podcast not having it like at a scheduled time, or the fact that it is a live stream, there has to be, they have to tune in right then.
Do you kind of not care so much about, at the moment, the live viewers? Are you getting your views more residually after the video's been uploaded, kind of?
Yeah.
And it's just a bonus that people can watch it live if they want to.
Right. I mean, I think it's exciting. Some of my favorite podcasters, they live stream, and it seems like the good quality ones do live stream. So I was just wanting to be better quality, but it's not that I don't care about the live stream viewers or like interacting with them. I've just never fucking done that before.
Yeah.
So
and you need a kind of decent move in chat to be able to like start interacting with them.
Right. I was talking about maybe doing one once a week with a buddy of mine that does something creative, and focusing more on the people commenting and all that stuff. But I'm not used to it yet. I kind of just got into it because I got into podcasting in general because I was doing nothing with my life. Like nothing. Sitting on the couch, drinking beer, going to shows sometimes,
Mhm.
and because I liked bands, I was like, well, why don't I invite them to come sit on my couch and drink beer and then
Yeah.
record it? And so I got more like into the music scene and talking to those people, but I didn't realize there was a potential to make money from it until I started screen printing, and then I realized that I knew all these bands and they needed shirts. So I never focused like on views or the viewer before.
Yeah.
Basically before this year I never had. Before the beginning of this year. Never focused on them. It was all like an after thing.
Yeah.